So I think the popular criticism of Hans Zimmer, if there is one, is that he's gone from the Buggles to arena shows just writing loud, bombastic music. And I think I probably unwittingly contributed to that in a previous video. But that's not entirely true, or at least not always true. There's a different Hans Zimmer, one who's contemplative and thoughtful, and I want to think about that and take a deeper look at his music with that in mind. The key to this, of course, is time. So time is key to both music and film. As Michel Chion argues, synchronized sound made cinema an art of time. This is because in the silent era, projectionists had a certain amount of freedom for what speed a film would be projected at, but sound cinema had to guarantee that the speed of the edited film would be the same when exhibited. You can think about this today. GIFs, they can load slowly or fast on your own computer depending on, the processor speed and the internet connection, etc. And it doesn't really matter, it can play slowly or fast without any problems. But add sound or add music, and suddenly time passes at a steady rate. Music adds duration to images. It can sustain an image, it can give life to it, it can comment on it. Hans Zimmer, and really Christopher Nolan, make movies and music about time. Nolan's first film, Memento, unfolds backwards and forwards simultaneously, and his more recent work has made a theme of time over and over again. Even at basics, Zimmer's music reflects that. His music is made for the modern era where edits are done alongside composing. Take a bar or three out of Zimmer's music and it doesn't really matter. But on a deeper level, Zimmer's music works because it plays with time. It pushes and pulls musical ideas and tests out their temporal limits.
That's the kick area! You have to go now!
So obviously we have things like Inception, which is of course all about time. As Nolan crosscuts between 4 different levels of dreaming, Zimmer's music anchors this impossible montage by stretching Non regrette rien. Into the film's iconic bombastic brass. Given that this is 4 scales of time too, with many days at the bottom and only seconds at the top, Zimmer helps the audience along by leaving the longest notes for the deepest layers of the dream.
I'm waiting for someone.
Time is stretched for the narrative world of Inception, but also for its music. You also get a great score like Interstellar, probably Hans Zimmer's best, whose musical lines are long and languid.
How'd it go?
I'm fine. It's fine.
As though each idea comes forth in slow motion, repeating, re-articulating.
Trouble safe here.
You look after our place for me, alright? Alright?
Given the importance of clocks to the film, it's no surprise that Zimmer also includes a few ticks on the soundtrack, usually to underscore scenes of temporal suspense, where time is kind of the enemy.
The waves.
Oh shit.
And of course, a film about time and Morse code and hidden messages needs a score with a few of its own. Finally, and probably most importantly of all, there's melody. Zimmer is definitely the iconic composer of a Hollywood era where melody is avoided. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't do interesting things with it. In fact, I think Zimmer has actually been able to take some pretty famous melodies and turn them into essential units of musical information that hold a film together. He takes melody and he compresses it. He plays with its time. So take superhero music. In the 80s and 90s, John Williams' Superman and Danny Elfman's Batman became the gold standard for the superhero brand. Memorable, iconic themes that stand in for their heroes as much as any other symbol. Let's start with Batman. This is Danny Elfman's iconic Batman theme from 1989. Zimmer has also composed for new Batman and Superman films, but today you can't be quite as operatic with your film music. Times and trends have changed. So Zimmer actually condenses these melodies and he creates digest versions of the same idea. So what would I do though if I was trying to build on this for an era where such strong melodies aren't really used in Hollywood? Well, I guess I might try and take it apart. I might take the two main notes that I hear, that's the minor third here. Then I might get the big chord change in a minor key from the first to the sixth, which gives this real feeling of gothic strength. Then I might put them together, like this. That's actually Zimmer's Batman, the same interval, the same chords, turned into a two-note brand. But that just could be a coincidence, I guess, so let's try Man of Steel and see if it's the same. Here's Williams' iconic Superman theme. Brilliant, but the kind of unabashedly heroic music that is unfashionable in today's Hollywood. Here's a comparison with Zimmer's Man of Steel. This is pretty clever stuff. It's taking a familiar melody, a musical icon, and compressing it. Maybe we recognize these iterations of the same characters are actually speaking the same musical language decades apart, even if we might not be able to articulate it. So while Zimmer gets a bit of a bad rap for bombast and music that's just plain loud, I think he's also responding to the world of film music that he's working in, and in part that he helped to create. Today's film music can be edited as you compose and recut to the visuals. Meanwhile, Hollywood has become more wary of melody than ever. The result is this. Zimmer, the composer, who plays with time to rewrite melody.